During the BTS comeback campaign? Or Blackpink comeback campaign? In the Netflix movie Kpop Demon Hunters? Hey everyone! Do you remember when you first saw Namsan Seoul Tower, the landmark of South Korea?
대한민국 아는 만큼 보여.
What color was Namsan Seoul Tower when you saw it at night? Those bright colors aren't just for decoration. In fact, did you know the lights on Seoul Tower are a giant air quality indicator for Seoul citizens, letting them know whether they should wear a mask? Blue is good. Green is moderate. Yellow is poor. Red is very poor. This fine dust alert service on Seoul Tower started in May 2011, and it has been looking after the health of Seoul citizens ever since. Isn't it interesting? When you visit, try checking the air quality in Seoul through the light colors. If you saw a different color or a special theme, please let me know what event it was. Namsan Mukbang! When Koreans go to Namsan Seoul Tower, it's an unwritten rule to eat Korean-style pork cutlet. Why? Long before Namsan Seoul Tower officially opened as an observatory on October 15, 1980, the Polgakjang Pavilion and the flat plaza at the top of Namsan were already a hot place for couples to enjoy dates. The Namsan Seoul Tower cable car opened and began operating in 1962, but the line was so long that couples took taxis to go up Namsan Seoul Tower. Since there were so many taxis, drivers, restaurants serving Korean-style pork cutlet appeared, and couples who went up Namsan Seoul Tower, where there were no restaurants nearby, also started having Korean-style pork cutlet for their meals. This has continued until now, creating the unwritten rule that Koreans must eat Korean-style pork cutlet nearby when they go to Namsan Seoul Tower. In fact, this iconic ritual was even featured in the hit Disney Plus K-drama Moving, which many of you might have enjoyed. When you go to Namsan Seoul Tower, I hope you experience the feeling, memories, and taste of Koreans' unwritten rule with the original pork cutlet. Oh, and please note down that there is also a Michelin-recognized Hanok Korean traditional restaurant branch nearby. Among couples who finished a delicious meal of Korean-style pork cutlet, there were many who proposed here. So, Namsan Seoul Tower is sometimes called the original romantic proposal spot in K-dramas. They promised eternal love, and a trend started where they hung love locks one by one and threw the keys away. Wait! Make sure to throw away the keys you are discarding into the trash can. Waste sorting is strict in Korea. There is also a key collection box at Namsan Seoul Tower, so please make sure to throw them away here. How many locks do you think are hanging on the railings around Namsan Seoul Tower that you already know or have seen? According to a study by the Korea Institute for Structural Maintenance and Inspection in 2021, the weight of the locks hanging on the roof terrace and the cable car path reaches about 82 tons. At 82 tons, that's more than 1/3 of the entire weight of the Statue of Liberty. If we assume the average weight of one lock is 120 grams, it is said that about 700,000 locks are hanging. Adding the number of removed locks, at least 1 million couples have promised their love here so far. Isn't it literally a huge real-life K-drama set? As I produce this video, I also get curious about the real-life K-drama endings of the couples who hung the lock. I hope the love of everyone who hung a lock lasts forever. Now, to experience Namsan Seoul Tower, you'll have to go up to Namsan Seoul Tower first, right? There are 3 main ways to go up Namsan Seoul Tower: the shuttle bus, the cable car, and walking. There are a total of 4 walking courses, starting from Namsan Dulagil, Namsan Mountain Trail, Staircase Trail, a path taking about 30 to 40 minutes where you can enjoy the atmosphere and night view of the Hanyang-dosang Seoul City Wall Road. Namsan Dulagil, Southern Crossroad, centered around a wide, flat paved road, taking about 40 to 50 minutes, famous as a spring cherry blossom walking path. Namsan Northern Forest Trail, a path taking about 15 to 20 minutes, newly opened last year in 2025, made of 954 wooden decks where you can fully enjoy nature while going up. Namsan Sky Forest Trail, taking about 30 to 40 minutes, Namsan Sky Forest Trail has a gentle slope, making it accessible for wheelchairs and strollers. Please note that the time it takes to walk can vary depending on your starting point and walking speed. Choose the best way for your taste and stamina and head up to Namsan Seoul Tower. Finally, welcome to Namsan Seoul Tower. The scenery of Seoul, where mountains and the city blend together, as seen from the Namsan Seoul Tower Observatory, is truly beautiful. However, Namsan Seoul Tower's original purpose was not an observatory. Located at an altitude of 480 meters above sea level and standing 236.7 meters tall, Namsan Seoul Tower did not initially appear for the purpose of an observatory, but rather to broadcast in Korea and to prevent North Korean broadcasts from reaching South Korea during the Cold War by establishing transmission towers. In the 1960s, Namsan originally had individual radio steel towers from various broadcasting stations, including KBS, built in 1961, standing messily on their own. Construction started on December 15, 1969. Tower body completed in December 1971. The concrete main structure, tower body, of the tower was completed first at this time. Final completion on July 30th, 1975. This is when all broadcast wave transmission facilities and observatory interiors were finished, and it officially began its mission as an integrated transmission tower. The transmission tower is equipped with transmission antennas for major domestic over-the-air TV and FM radio, and 48% of the national audible population watches broadcasts through the Namsan Seoul Tower transmission tower. So, Namsan Seoul Tower is not just a simple observatory, but a public interest tower that still works today for the health of Seoul citizens and Korean broadcasting through its fine dust alert service and transmission tower. Knowing this, doesn't Namsan Seoul Tower have so many talents and secrets? Next time you come to Namsan, please make sure to take another look at this wonderful, hero-like tower. Since you can easily find a lot of information about the facilities inside Namsan Seoul Tower, I'll just briefly mention them. First, at the lower part of Namsan Seoul Tower, there is a 4-story entrance called Seoul Tower Plaza. Entering the OLED tunnel, which was installed for the first time in Korea. You can also enjoy the Panorama OLED, OLED Circle, OLED Wave, and the 3D World Experience Center. Inside the main building of Namsan Seoul Tower, besides the observatory, there are various Korean, Western, and other diverse restaurants. On the very top floor of the observatory, there is also a restaurant where the floor rotates 360 degrees. One full rotation takes about 1 hour and 40 minutes. Please check the official website for Namsan Seoul Tower official operating hours, snack bars, and other information. Now, let's take a moment to enjoy the media art located in the entrance area of the Namsan Seoul Tower Observatory. like the media art at Namsan Seoul Tower? Please experience the media art themes that change every season for yourself. Besides this, various seasonal events are held at the outdoor plaza of Namsan Seoul Tower. Among them, the most memorable one was a special event at the end of 2015, where a giant gorilla art balloon was hung on the wall of Namsan Seoul Tower to celebrate the Year of the Monkey. This video right here is the behind-the-scenes video of the real-life King Kong that was hung on Namsan Seoul Tower. According to a survey of foreign visitors conducted by the Seoul Metropolitan Government, Gyeongbokgung Palace, Myeongdong, and Namsan Seoul Tower belong to the #1 group of landmarks in Seoul that foreigners most prefer and visit when they come to South Korea. I hope you remember the hidden stories I shared with you today and get to experience Namsan Seoul Tower in an even more interesting way when you visit Korea in the future. After all, it's always much more fun when you know the stories and enjoy it. What kind of famous observatories do you have in your country? And what kind of hidden behind-the-scenes stories do those observatories have? Please feel free to share them in the comments. If there's a chance, I would love to personally visit the places you recommend as well. I will continue uploading useful information for you, planning a trip, and everyone who wants to get to know more about Korea.
대한민국 아는 만큼 보여. 감사합니다.